Alright, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to tonight's Cheer League match between BJ and Company and Mrrgglle. So this is a Division 1 match between these two Cheer League teams, and the map tonight will be Brax's Holdout. And the draft is already underway, so let's just go get to that right now. So Malfurion was banned out first by BJ and Company, not too surprising. This is a map that's heavily reliant on sustain, and Malfurion, one of the best sustain healers in the game. And Mrrgglle choosing to ban out Samuro, which, not surprising, he is very dominant at the moment. Very, very strong. I think he's still at like a 65% win rate. So, very, very strong. I don't think people have figured out yet how to deal with him. But Rexxar picked up by BJ and Company. So, Rexxar very, very strong on this map. He can very easily control one of the beacons, generally the top. But he can put Misha on the point. She's very, very difficult to force off of it. And then Rexxar can soak the lane while Misha sits on the point. But Alarak and ETC picked up for Mrrgglle. Really like the pickup of Alarak on this map. He does seem to be very strong at the moment. And you could put him in the 4-man. In which case he can really set up ganks for his team. You know, he can really pick off people who are out of position. Pull them in with telekinesis and Discord strike them. Or you can put him up in the top lane and have him deal with Rexxar. But you may not really get full value out of him. It's like he can do that, but it's probably better suited being in the 4-man. So Brightwing picked up for BJ and Company. So Brightwing, I think, is very strong on this map. She can easily rotate between the top and bottom beacons. If you're able to secure one, she can easily travel to the other, turn that into a 2-on-1. Or some kind of numbers advantage. 4-on-3, some of that nature. But also a very, very good sustained healer. She doesn't use any mana to heal. And Lunar picked up as well. I think Lunar is also very good on this map. She can do a lot of damage very, very consistently. And really wear people down. But all she has to do is pretty much auto-attack people, and then her poison will do heavy amounts of damage. Doesn't really use a lot of mana, typically. But Mrrgglle going to be banned out by Mrrgglle. So BJ and Company, they have a warrior for the top lane. They have Rexxar, but generally you also need a tank for the bottom lane as well. So if the 4-man actually has a tank, they actually have peels and setup CC. So yeah, I like the ban by Mrrgglle. I also like the Ariel ban by BJ and Company. So Brightwing, one of the best sustain supports in the game, as is Malfurion, and Ariel also fits that bill. So far BJ and Company, they're really limiting the options that Mrrgglle has in terms of their supports. So Lieutenant Mrrgglle is still on the table, who is actually quite good on this map. Yeah, if you could put her in the 4-man where she's very well protected, you know, the amount of healing she puts out is very, very difficult to deal with. I should know. Just won a Hero League game with Mrrgglle on this map. Yeah, in that game, I was Mrrgglle, and we were paired up with a Gul'dan, and Mrrgglle Gul'dan. Very, very, very strong combination on this map. I mean, she just feeds him a ton of healing, which he turns into mana. Yeah, with this short cooldowns, I mean, he can just put out so much damage. So, Vala picked up and Lieutenant Mrrgglle, as predicted for Mrrgglle. And Vala, she does pair very well with Mrrgglle, and I like ETC being part of the 4-man as well. ETC can largely take care of himself. He does have healing, particularly good healing, assuming he goes with Prog Rock and completes his quest. But that'll allow Mrrgglle to focus on healing Vala, which will allow her to really be a force to deal with. But Johanna picked up in response to Vala. So Vala relies heavily on her auto attack damage, and Johanna can throw out her shield glare and blind her. So her auto attacks do absolutely nothing. And even with a well-timed shield glare, if Vala hasn't gotten an auto attack off in a few seconds, yeah, because she's blind and can't build any of her hatred stacks, which go away after, I think, excuse me, I think 6 seconds. Yeah, if a very well-timed shield glare can cancel out all of Vala's stacks, which means she'll have to beat on something 10 more times to build it all back up. So, one more pick here for BJ Company. It could pick up a Li Ming. You know, they pretty much have everything they need already. They have a support, have a ranged DPS, have a tank, have a bruiser, have a soul laner in a Rexxar. And it will be Tychus. Which is interesting. ETC not the highest health tank in the game by a long shot. So not necessarily going to get a lot of value out of his minigun, but Tychus is still very, very strong on this map. But it will be Carrion picked up for Mrrgglle. Interesting. Not sure how I feel about the Kerrigan pick. I mean, this is a map that's largely about sustain. It's not really about rotating and getting picks, which is where Kerrigan excels. I also don't know if Morales is really the right support for her either. So we may end up seeing Alarak go into the top lane and then have a 4-man squad with ETC, Vala, Morales, and Kerrigan on the bottom. Who would be going against Brightwing, Lunara, Johanna, Tychus, so. Interesting. But I think both teams, a few more need to ready up, and then we'll be ready. Alright, everyone is all readied up, so I believe we're good to go. Sadly, I'm not the host. I was a little bit late because I was doing a Hero League game before this, which went a little bit long. It was Cursed Hollow, which does tend to go a little bit long. So, I guess whoever's the host needs to hit start. Which is not me. No, sadly we lost the game where we had Zarya and Chen, and I had Ariel. And I really think Zarya is one of the best pairs for Ariel. Yeah, because she just gives her so much energy, so much sustained damage. And as long as Zarya's taking damage, assuming Ariel took Empathic Link, which I did, any damage Zarya takes is also going to feed Ariel energy, so sadly we lost that because our ranged DPSs weren't very good. But anyway, this match is now beginning, so let's head over to it. So, on the side of BJ Company, we have Zentius on Lunara, Odin X on Tychus, Rusin on Brightwing, Monferno on Johanna, Odin X on Tychus, and Gerudo King on Rexxar. And for the side of Mrrgglle, we have I Am on Fire on Vala, the Cobra on Lieutenant Morales, Hawaiian Ken on ETC, Chad on Alarak, and Sumugi on Kerrigan. So, as expected, it looks like Rexxar will be going into the top lane, where he'll be going off against Chad on Alarak.
2, 1. Facility online.
The battle begins.
So, the difficult thing for BJ and Company is, I think it's going to be Morales. Unless they can get to her, unless they can get picks on her and kill her, the amount of sustain she's going to provide her team, and the amount of aggression she's going to provide Vala, and what I'm trying to say is she's going to let Vala and Kerrigan be very aggressive thanks to her very, very dedicated healing. So, unless I can get to Morales, I really think this is going to be tough for BJ and Company. So far, we see a lot of poison being sprinkled all around by Zentius on Lunara. Kerrigan getting awfully low, but that's going to be no problem for Lieutenant Mrrgglle. Of course, it could be a very similar issue for Mrrgglle as well. Brightwing does do very, very sustained healing. It's over time, so unless they're able to get picks and burst people down, Brightwing is just going to get people all the way up to 100% in no time. Lunara in a lot of danger there, but did not go down. Meanwhile, on the top lane, let's see what's going on here. So we have Rexxar versus Alarak. The classic matchup. Kind of the new classic matchup on this map. Power Slide goes in on Brightwing. Unfortunately, the combo not going to connect from Kerrigan. That was going to be ETC to fall. Not Brightwing. I think Kerrigan may have been a response to Lunara. Maybe Lunara and Brightwing. Both of them do not have mounts and are a little bit limited in terms of their mobility. A lot of poison being put onto Mrrgglle, but thanks to her trait, that's going to be no problem at all. Kind of fun fact about Mrrgglle, she's actually fairly tanky. If she can take a good deal of damage, as long as it's not fatal, she's going to heal right back up. I mean, she basically has the exact same trait as Mrrgglle. Meanwhile, the chase is on for Brightwing. Combo not quite connecting. And Brightwing going to get away with almost no life. But Lieutenant Mrrgglle going to go down. So far, I mean, a lot of near misses. Or, a lot of misses on the side of Mrrgglle. We see them going in hard for these combos. They're not quite connecting. And because of that, they're a little bit overextended, and then one of their members ends up falling. Meanwhile, because we saw the bottom be so firmly controlled, we see Brightwing phase shift up to the top, and Lunara rotate up as well. But is this going to leave the bottom beacon a little vulnerable? Johanna going to sit on it for as long as she can. Iron Skin down though, which means she's vulnerable to the Kerrigan combo, but no. So Power Slide comes down on Odinex, on Tygus, and finally the Kerrigan combo connects, and we see a target be deleted. So after 74% charge for the side of BJandCo, finally both beacons go under control of Mrrgglle. But we're going to see Misha park her little bear self on the point. I think he may have wanted to use telekinesis to knock Misha off the point. But you can see, this right here, this is why Rexxar is so strong in this map. Misha, if she's on the point and it's a one-on-one matchup, there's almost nothing you can do to get her off of the point. I mean, you can't really kill her. Some heroes have abilities like telekinesis, which can kind of shove her off, but very, very difficult. So, despite that that momentary lapse in the charging of both beacons for BJandCo, they managed to secure both of them and get 100% charge. So, fortunately for them, the Zerg wave for them is spawning in the bottom lane where they had a four-man squad. So, everyone is perfectly in position to push with their Zerg wave. But right now, it's only 2 pushing here at the moment. So, I actually see a 3-man response up on the top. Which, I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like that push could have been a lot stronger if they had all 4 push. You really want to make sure you get the well. Like, the well is, like, the most important thing. If you take out the well, you really hurt the other team's ability to sustain around the beacons, which kind of important on this map.
Oh wait, I did.
What is my Hero League rank? It used to be Diamond, but it's not anymore, so probably don't need to listen to anything I'm saying. So far, as far as the talents go, I don't see anything too out of the ordinary. So Nature's Culling picked up for Lunara, so It's really going to really help the push power of BJ and company. And Cleanse was picked up by Brightwing. That's something we're seeing a lot more these days. Yeah, you almost used to never see Brightwing pick up Cleanse, but thanks to Phase Shield being nerfed, that's given her many more options at level 7. A lot of times you see Mystified, but now you're starting to see Cleanse some, and I think that's probably a response to Kerrigan. Yeah, if you can cleanse someone out of her combo, really makes life difficult for that Kerrigan. So, camps have all been picked up by both teams. Everyone grabbing their respective Fire Bats and Bruisers. Yeah, I'm not a StarCraft player, so I don't know what the name of the units is for the Bruiser camp. Isn't like one of them the Seekers, like the quote-unquote mage? So, Beacon should be reactivated. Oh, hey, what did I say? As soon as I say that, Beacon's about to be powering up here. About 5 more seconds, so... Both teams, and no one really poised to... yeah, I take that back. Bottom one going to fairly easily be taken, despite 4 down here for the side of Mrrgglle. And we saw Brightwing phase shift up to the top to try and secure the top one. It's probably going to result in the bottom one being taken by Mrrgglle, which is a little bit risky. They know that phase shift is on cooldown, so they probably have a good 45 seconds here, where it's a 4-on-3. So I think it'd be very risky to contest this as BJ and company. But Johanna manages to get out of there in time. Tychus being dived on, but manages to get out of there. Power Slide comes in from ETC. And we now see Brightwing has rejoined the group, so... And Mrrgglle being very effectively forced back, which is going to result in this bottom beacon going over control of BJ and company. It looks like Alarak may be trying to contest the top, and yeah. If I were a betting man, I would say he used telekinesis to shove Misha off the point. But not going to be able to stop that. So, Chad going after Rexar. The Discord Strike not going to connect. And it looks like that top beacon going to remain under control of BJ and company. So, big dive comes in from Kerrigan. The Great Odin that's just perfectly timed. Fantastic use of that Unstoppable to dodge the Kerrigan combo. Looks like Lunara going to live. Kerrigan, though, on the other hand, she falls. And Lunara, hoping no one notices that she's down there. And the great Emerald Wind comes down from Brightwing, going to force a stimmed Vala and Morales away. We see control of both beacons go over to Mrrgglle, but it's only going to be very brief. As there's no way they can continue to contest these being solo. But they did manage to get themselves 12%. But most likely this fort will go down, thanks to Nature's Culling from Lunara. Anytime she can get some free hits on a structure is a huge win for her. But the big stage dive comes in from Hawaiian on ETC. Fortunately, the follow-up not quite there from Kerrigan. Tychus in a lot of trouble, manages to dash away, and does a great job of juking the Kerrigan combo. But Blessed Shield comes down from Johanna. Vala in a ton of trouble, she goes down. Morales on the run as well. Great ravage by Kerrigan to get away from the chase. And it looks like for the time being, control of the top beacon going to go over to Mrrgglle. So they are going to at least stop all beacons from being charged for the moment, but that is going to come to an end right now because Brightwing has showed up. Although ETC has showed up as well, so Rexar in a lot of trouble. He ends up going down. And now poor Brightwing is up here alone, but no, she does have Lunara coming up to come help. ETC getting chunked out, going to have to power slide out of there. And finally, both beacons fully charged for the side of BJ and company. Johanna going to use her Iron Skin to evade all kinds of danger. So this time the Zerg are pushing in the top lane for BJ and company. I believe it always swaps. Last time it pushed in the bottom lane, now it's pushing the top lane. I believe it ignores any structure health in the lane. So looking like this top fort is going to go down. And I think that's going to be about it. The combo not connecting from Alarak. But Johanna goes down in the bottom lane. Somehow Vala going into Johanna. Johanna can be a bit of a pain to deal with for Vala. She's able to land a condemn. It can be very difficult to escape, as Johanna does have all kinds of slows and stuns. But a great polymorph coming down on great saves here by Rusin on Brightwing. So does the polymorph to interrupt the Kerrigan combo. Does the Emerald win to disengage, and Rexxar ends up surviving. Yeah, so far, I mean, this is definitely not the strongest map for Kerrigan, but Kerrigan definitely having a rough time here. So this top keep wall being pushed in really hard. The combo not connecting from Alarak. So I think it's about where this push is going to end. Probably not going to get the keep. Despite having these, they're called overlords. Not going to be enough, so we are seeing BJ and company choosing to back off. Maybe thinking about having a little party bush situation here. But no, the Mrrgglle going to be scouted out by the wisp provided by Lunara. So it's definitely a bit risky going for this camp without the entire team there. And Rexxar is going to fall. Brightwing able to escape. I believe Emerald Wind actually just used it, but so I guess it was available there, but yeah, unless you're like Emerald Winding where someone's being dove on, it's not going to help that much. But yeah, I mean, it was a very tricky situation for BJ and company to be in. But while BJ and company they were splitting up trying to grab the fire bats, they weren't able to do that, but they were able to get the bottom camp. So BJ and company doing a very good job of painting the map blue for the most part. And I think right now, all they're trying to do is soak to 16. And basically be ready for the next set of beacons. Probably don't want to fight until then. Yeah, we see Lunara using Nature's Culling and Thornwood Vine to absolutely just delete a wave. So I think what they're going to do, try and get this top cannon tower down, get 16. And then, if the other team wants to fight, I think they're going to be very happy about it. So, big stage dive comes in from ETC. Power slide onto Tychus. Once again, using Odin to basically get out of some of the stun. Morales in a lot of trouble. Kerrigan has gone down as well. Power slide going down, trying to get to Lunar, not going to work. And unfortunately for him, now he's overextended. So far, a 3-for-0 trade for BJ company, which I think is exactly what they want. Bit of a cheeky little hearth there by Chad. Definitely in the vision of the other team. We're just going to poke at him, deny him from hearthing for a little bit longer. So BJ and company, they have secured the bottom keep, and that's very important for them because their Zerg wave is not going to push out of the bottom pen. So last time it pushed top, now it's going to push bottom. But that's not all. They also want to take the boss. And I think the boss on this map, I think he does push the healthiest lane, so this boss is going to go top. But most importantly, it's going to force a response out of Mrrgglle, which is going to let BJ and company fully charge both beacons. And they're a little bit split here, which is not working out for them. Tychus ends up going down. And Johanna going to have to run. And it was, oh my god, great Emerald win from Brightwing. It was looking like she was almost certainly going to go down, but thanks to that, able to survive. So, Mrrggle's got to feel very good about that. So they got a couple kills, they stopped the beacons from charging, and because it takes this boss so long to walk all the way to the keep, they're going to lose the keep, but they are going to be able to take it down before it threatens the core. But meanwhile, while they respond, bottom beacon back under control of BJ and company. And they will now have a 100% Zerg wave, 17-minute Zerg wave pushing on the core in the bottom lane. Oh, is that the Guardians? Is that what they're called? Okay. Alright. Gonna have to brush up on my StarCraft wiki after this. So, Johanna going to be a little late, and Rexar pushing in the top lane. This might be a little bit early in the game to end. They would definitely like to if they could. So far, a lot of the Zerg have been dealt with. Big 3-man Condemn comes in from Johanna. And the Discourse Strike comes out from Alarak, but don't think he's going to get away, despite the heals from Rouse, which I believe were interrupted by Blessed Shield. And that is going to be game. I think the pressure Rexar put in from the top just allowed more of the minions to be pushing on the core. So. Yeah, you know, I think in that game we saw the importance of globals on that map. BJ and company did a great job of rotating Brightwing, you know, using her global mobility to swap between the beacons, which allowed them to every single time secure a 100% Zerg wave and push with that and give them an advantage, let them get ahead, help them get further ahead. So. We'll play to BJ and company. They will move up in the standings, and congratulations to them. So that is going to do it for me for tonight, and I believe the rest of the week. So next week is the last week of the season before the playoffs. So looking forward to doing some more casting next week, and hopefully the playoffs too. But congratulations once again to BJ and company, and that's going to do it for me for tonight. So if you'd like to see some more of my casts, please do subscribe. And with that, have a good night. Thank you.